The afternoon light filtered through JFK International Airport's Terminal 4, casting geometric shadows across the polished marble floors. Raj Patel navigated through the crowds with the practiced ease of someone who spent half his life in airports, though usually he bypassed all this entirely through private terminals. At 42, Raj had built CloudNexus from a Stanford dorm room project into a $3.2 billion cloud computing empire that serviced Fortune 500 companies across 6 continents. His company's servers powered everything from streaming services to financial trading platforms, making him one of the tech industry's quietest billionaires. He avoided publicity, eschewed flashy displays of wealth, and preferred comfortable simplicity over designer logos. Today, he was dressed for comfort on his upcoming 14-hour flight to Dubai. Well-fitted jeans, a navy polo shirt, and his favorite Loro Piana backpack. Though to the untrained eye, it just looked like a simple black backpack, not the $3,500 luxury item it actually was. His only obvious marker of wealth was the Patek Philippe Nautilus on his wrist, but even that was understated, recognizable only to serious watch enthusiasts. His Gulfstream G650 was currently being prepped at the private aviation terminal, fueled and stocked for the transatlantic journey. He had 90 minutes before departure, and he wanted to pick up a gift for his fiancée Priya, who'd stayed behind in San Francisco to manage their foundation's new education initiative. The Tom Ford boutique caught his eye, elegant, sophisticated, and Priya's favorite fragrance brand. Oud Wood, specifically. She'd worn it on their first date 3 years ago, and he'd been associating that warm, woody scent with her ever since. Pushing through the glass doors, Raj entered the carefully curated space of luxury and exclusivity. The boutique was designed to feel like a high-end department store condensed into 800 square feet, gleaming displays, dramatic lighting, and an air of aspirational sophistication. Behind the counter stood Jessica Bennett, a woman in her early 30s who'd worked luxury retail for a decade and believed she'd mastered the art of reading customers. Her well-trained eye assessed Raj the moment he entered. Casual clothes, backpack, no visible luxury signifiers beyond what could be a replica watch. Her mental calculation was instant and dismissive. Probably an economy-class passenger with time to kill, the type who came in to browse expensive items they'd never buy. "Good afternoon," Jessica said, her voice carrying professional courtesy but her body language remaining closed, arms crossed subtly as she positioned herself protectively near the most expensive displays. "Hello," Raj replied pleasantly. "I'm interested in seeing your private blend collection, specifically Oud Wood." Jessica's eyebrows rose slightly. The private blend collection represented Tom Ford's most exclusive fragrances, priced between $300 and $600 per bottle. Not impulse purchases for most travelers. "Of course, sir. I should mention that our private blend collection is quite premium. The Oud Wood you mentioned is $450 for the 50 milliliters bottle, $600 for the 100 milliliters. She emphasized the prices deliberately, giving him an out, a chance to save face by claiming it was too expensive and leaving before she wasted time on a non-buyer. "That's fine," Raj said simply. "May I smell it?" Jessica hesitated, her mind running calculations. The bottle would need to be opened, tested on paper strips, possibly sprayed. If he didn't buy, it was wasted effort. "Sir, before we proceed, are you familiar with the private blend line? These aren't your typical commercial fragrances. They're very concentrated, very distinctive, and frankly, they're investment pieces for serious fragrance collectors." "I understand," Raj said patiently. "My fiancée wears Oud Wood. I'd like to purchase a bottle for her." Jessica's skepticism deepened. "For your fiancée, and she appreciates fragrances in this price range." The implication was clear. Does your fiancée have the refined taste necessary for such luxury, or are you buying above your station? "She has excellent taste," Raj replied, his voice remaining even despite the insult. "Which is why I'd like to see the product." Jessica sighed audibly, her patience clearly thinning. "Sir, I'm trying to be helpful here. Our private blend collection is designed for first-class and business-class travelers, clients who are accustomed to luxury purchases. If budget is a concern, we have excellent options in our standard collection ranging from $75 to $150. Budget isn't a concern, Raj said, a slight edge creeping into his voice now. I'd simply like to see the fragrance. Jessica's expression shifted from dismissive to openly annoyed. Sir, let me be frank with you. I've worked luxury retail at airports for 10 years. I can generally tell when someone is serious about making a purchase versus when they're browsing to pass time before an economy flight. Your presentation suggests the latter. The private blend collection requires significant investment, and I don't want to waste your time or mind showing you products that are outside your price range. The words hung in the air like an accusation. Other customers in the boutique glanced over, sensing the tension. My presentation, Raj repeated carefully. You mean my clothing? I mean everything, Jessica said, her professionalism slipping into frank condescension. The way you're dressed, the backpack, the casual demeanor. Our typical private blend customers arrive in business attire. They carry designer luggage. They present themselves as people accustomed to luxury. You look like you're heading to a college campus, not a fragrance counter with $450 perfumes. I see, Raj said quietly. So you're refusing to show me a product based on my appearance? I'm suggesting that you might be more comfortable with products that match your lifestyle and budget. Jessica corrected, though the meaning was identical. There's no shame in that. Not everyone can afford Tom Ford's premium lines. The duty-free shop down the corridor has perfectly nice options in more accessible price ranges. A well-dressed woman browsing nearby paused, looking between Jessica and Raj with uncomfortable recognition of what was happening. But she said nothing, turning back to her own shopping, unwilling to involve herself. Raj pulled out his wallet, a simple black leather billfold, nothing flashy, and extracted his American Express Centurion card, placing it on the counter without a word. Jessica stared at the matte black card, the invitation-only black card that required either massive annual spending or extraordinary wealth to obtain. Her certainty wavered for just a moment. That could be, she started, then caught herself before finishing the thought aloud. Fake, stolen, fraudulent. Could be what? Raj asked, his voice dangerously quiet now. I mean, Jessica fumbled for words. Sir, you have to understand, we get people all the time who try to present themselves as wealthy when they're not. Fake cards, stolen identities, people trying to impress. I'm just being cautious. You weren't cautious when a white man in a suit walked in 10 minutes ago, and you immediately showed him your entire collection, Raj observed, having watched that exact interaction while browsing near the entrance. You didn't question his budget or suggest he try the duty-free shop. The only difference between him and me is how we look. Jessica's face flushed. That's not. I don't. You're making this about race when it's about professional assessment. Then assess this professionally, Raj said, pulling out his boarding pass and placing it next to the credit card. Private jet terminal. Aircraft, Gulfstream G650. Departure to Dubai. Passenger, Raj Patel. Jessica picked up the boarding pass, her hands beginning to tremble as she read it. Private jet. Not economy. Not even first class. His own private aircraft. She started, the color draining from her face. I'm the CEO and founder of CloudNexus, Raj continued, his voice level but carrying steel now. We did $8.7 billion in revenue last year. The backpack you dismissed is Loro Piana, $3,500. The replica watch is a Patek Philippe Nautilus, $85,000. And the plane I'm about to board? I own it. $65 million, custom interior, currently being fueled for a 14-hour flight. He paused, letting the information sink in as Jessica's professional composure crumbled completely. But you looked at my brown skin, my casual clothes, and my lack of designer logos, and decided I was too poor, too unsophisticated, too economy class to deserve basic customer service in your boutique. Mr. Patel, I didn't mean. I wasn't. Jessica's stammering was interrupted by the boutique manager emerging from the back office, drawn by the obvious tension. "Is everything all right?" Marcus Torres asked, his practiced retail smile faltering as he took in Jessica's ashen face and Raj's quiet authority. "Your employee has spent the last 10 minutes explaining why I'm not an appropriate customer for your private blend collection," Raj said calmly. "She suggested I try the duty-free shop where products match my lifestyle and budget. She assumed I was an economy-class passenger killing time because I didn't meet her visual criteria for wealth." Marcus looked at the boarding pass and credit card still on the counter, his eyes widening as he processed the information. "Mr. Patel, I am so deeply sorry. This is completely unacceptable." "It's not just unacceptable," Raj said. "It's discriminatory. And it's revealing. How many other customers has she treated this way? How many South Asian travelers, or black travelers, or anyone who didn't fit her narrow stereotype of wealthy, has she dismissed and sent away?" The question hung unanswered because everyone knew the answer was probably many. The PA system crackled overhead. "Gulfstream G650, tail number November Charlie 57 Golf Papa, passenger Raj Patel. Your aircraft is ready for boarding at the private terminal. Ground transportation is waiting." The announcement echoed through the boutique, each word hammering another nail into Jessica's career coffin. Several customers turned to stare at Raj, recognition dawning that they'd just witnessed something significant. Jessica looked like she might faint. "I didn't know," she whispered. "How was I supposed to know?" "You weren't supposed to know," Raj replied. "You were supposed to treat every customer with respect regardless of their appearance. That's literally your job. But you chose to judge, to assume, to discriminate based on nothing but how I looked." Marcus was already pulling out his radio. "Security, I need you at the Tom Ford boutique immediately. And get me the terminal manager. We have a serious situation." "That won't be necessary," Raj said, stopping him. "I'm not interested in creating a scene or getting security involved. I'm interested in understanding why this happened and ensuring it doesn't happen again." He turned to Jessica. "You said you've worked luxury retail for 10 years. In those 10 years, how often have you made assumptions about customers based on race or appearance?" Jessica couldn't answer, tears beginning to form in her eyes. "How many South Asian customers have you steered away from expensive products? How many black customers have you treated with suspicion? How many times have you equated wealth with whiteness and poverty with brown skin?" I never thought of it like that," Jessica managed to say. "I was just trying to. I thought I was being helpful, saving people from embarrassment." "You were protecting your own bias," Raj said. "You were enforcing a hierarchy where people who look like you deserve premium treatment and people who look like me deserve suspicion." Marcus had gone pale, understanding the legal and reputational implications of what had just occurred. "Mr. Patel, I want you to know that Jessica's behavior does not represent Tom Ford's values or our commitment to serving all customers equally." "Doesn't it?" Raj asked. "She said she's been doing this for 10 years. 10 years of making these assumptions, and no one noticed? No one corrected her? No one thought to examine whether your professional assessment was actually just racial profiling?" He looked at Jessica directly. "You're going to be fired. You know that, right? Marcus is going to terminate your employment because I'm a billionaire CEO with a private jet, and keeping you employed creates liability. But here's the thing. You should have been fired the first time you treated a customer this way, regardless of who they turned out to be. Discrimination is wrong whether your victim is a CEO or an hourly worker. The problem isn't that you insulted someone important. The problem is that you insulted someone human." Marcus nodded slowly. "Jessica, you're suspended immediately pending investigation. Please collect your personal items and leave the premises." "Please," Jessica said, tears flowing now. "I have student loans, rent, car payments. I can't afford to lose this job." "You should have thought about that before you decided your customer's worth based on their skin color," Marcus said firmly. "Mr. Patel, is there anything we can do to make this right?" Raj considered. "Train your staff. All of them. Not just on company policy, but on examining their own biases. Implement anonymous feedback systems specifically asking about discrimination. Track your customer service patterns by demographic. And when you find problems, and you will find problems, address them systematically, not just with individual firings. He pulled out his business card and handed it to Marcus. I sit on the boards of 3 retail diversity initiatives. Have your corporate office contact me. We'll talk about comprehensive reform, not just damage control. Thank you, Mr. Patel. And again, I cannot apologize enough. Don't apologize to me, Raj said. Apologize by being better, and by ensuring that the next person who looks like me and walks into your store is treated with the dignity they deserve from the first moment. As Raj walked out of the boutique, several customers who'd witnessed the interaction gave him small nods of respect. Jessica watched him go, her career in ruins, forced to confront the biases she'd never examined. The Gulfstream G650 lifted off from JFK 30 minutes later. Raj settled into the leather seats with the Tom Ford Oud Wood he'd eventually purchased from a chastened Marcus personally. He'd bought 5 bottles, 1 for Priya, and 4 more he'd donate to a charity auction supporting South Asian entrepreneurs. Below him, Jessica Bennett was already being escorted from the terminal, her termination paperwork processed with efficient finality. The story would spread quickly through airport retail circles, becoming a cautionary tale about the cost of assumptions. 6 months later, Tom Ford implemented comprehensive bias training across all their retail locations, using Raj's incident as a case study. Airport luxury retail industry-wide adopted new protocols explicitly prohibiting customer profiling based on appearance. And Raj continued his work, building companies, investing in innovation, and refusing to accept that his brown skin or casual clothes should ever require justification for his right to be treated with basic human respect. Sometimes justice doesn't require legal action or viral videos. Sometimes it requires using the power you've earned to demand that systems change, that people examine their biases, and that the simple act of shopping while brown doesn't require presenting credentials proving you deserve to exist in luxury spaces. Jessica's termination became a teaching moment. Raj's dignity became a blueprint. And one conversation in an airport boutique became the catalyst that forced an entire industry to confront how it judged who deserved service based on nothing but appearance.